All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to tackle a big topic in GCSE chemistry, chemical analysis. And the best way to do that? Well, we're going to take a real exam question and break it down piece by piece. We'll be using the official mark scheme to figure out exactly what those examiners want to see. Let's jump right in.
So here it is, question 01 from an actual paper. It's all about chemical analysis, flame tests and figuring out what ions are in a solution. We're going to go through every single part of this question together.
Our mission is pretty simple, really. We want to see what a perfect full-mark answer looks like. We'll dig into the exact wording they're hoping for, and super importantly, all the other answers that would still get you those precious points.
First up, we've got the flame test. This is such a classic experiment. It's colorful, it's memorable, and it's all about identifying metal ions from the unique light they give off when you heat them up.
Okay, the first part is a nice, straightforward one-marker. It's a pure memory question. What color do you get when you put copper sulfate in a flame?
And the answer is green. Simple as that. 1 mark in the bag. It's just one of those facts you've got to know.
But here is something really useful to know about mark schemes. They often have a little flexibility. In this case, while green is the answer most of us would give, blue-green would also get you the full mark. It just goes to show that examiners know colors can look a little different to different people.
Right, on to the next bit. Now this one's worth 2 marks, so it's a bit more involved. It's not just about what you know, but about applying it. So the student messed up the test for calcium iodide, and we need to explain exactly why.
So since it's a 2-marker, you need to make 2 distinct points. For that first mark, you have to say what went wrong. The student did not clean the metal wire. You could also say that copper sulfate is still present. Then for the second mark, you explain the consequence. Because it was contaminated, the colors are mixed, or blended, or even masked. You need both of those points to get the full 2 marks.
Okay, we're moving on from flame tests now. This next part of the question is about another super important method for identifying positive ions, or cations, this time using sodium hydroxide solution. The question is asking, what happens when you add sodium hydroxide to those 2 solutions we've been working with? Again, this is all about remembering the key observations for these chemical tests.
And here are the answers. For copper sulfate, you're looking for a blue precipitate. For calcium iodide, you get a white precipitate. That's 1 mark for each correct result. Easy peasy.
And just like we saw before, the examiners give you a little leeway. If you wrote solid instead of precipitate, that's totally fine. Because, a precipitate is just a solid that forms in a solution. So blue solid and white solid would absolutely get you the marks here.
We've covered the metal ions, the cations. Now the last part of this question is all about testing for the non-metal ions, which we call anions.
All right, question 1.4. This is the standard test for sulfate ions. They've already told you the first step, adding dilute hydrochloric acid. So what's the all-important chemical you add next? For this 1 mark, the mark scheme actually accepts 2 different answers. The one you probably learned is barium chloride solution. But guess what? Barium nitrate solution is also correct. As long as it's got those barium ions in there, you're good to go.
And for the final question, we need to describe the test for iodide ions. Now look closely. It asks for the test and the positive result. That's a huge clue that this is going to be a 2-mark question.
Let's break it down then. For the first mark, you have to name the chemical you add, which is silver nitrate solution. And for the second mark, you need to say what you see. A yellow precipitate forms. You've got to have both parts to get the full 2 marks.
And just so we're crystal clear, let's look at the other ways you could have described this. The mark scheme also says yellow solid is fine. You could even get specific about the shade, like pale yellow precipitate or pale yellow solid. It's nice to know you have a little bit of wiggle room in your descriptions.
Phew! Okay, we have made it through the entire question, from flames to precipitates. Now let's just pull everything together into one neat final summary. Honestly, this slide right here is your perfect revision card for this topic. It's got everything we just covered. The green flame for copper, the blue and white solids with sodium hydroxide, and those key tests for sulfates and iodide ions. Seeing it all laid out like this really helps it stick in your brain. So there you have it, a full breakdown of a GCSE chemical analysis question, showing you exactly how to get all the marks. We focused a lot on the what you add, what you see. But the real deep understanding, that comes from knowing the why. So I'll leave you with this question. Now you know what happens. Can you explain why it happens? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.